In the South American Blitz game, there was a war that stretched for 8 rounds. And that war is the First War of Brazil, a very intense, bloody, and long-lasting war. Today we will discuss about the entire history of the First War of Brazil. The war started with the two neighboring Brazilian nations. The light green one is the Empire of Brazil, the dark green one is the Integralist Brazil. It was round 3 when Integralist Brazil attacked the Empire of Brazil in order to get Rio de Janeiro, the capital of the Empire of Brazil. In the next round, Integralist forces managed to take down Rio de Janeiro, but there were a lot of casualties, as there was a surprise attack of the Imperialist army from north to the Integralist army, which caused massive casualties. But both sides suffered it, so it was a win-win for both, I guess. The next round was basically a war of attrition, or a battle of attrition at this case, as both sides tried to infiltrate into each other's positions but failed. More or less, it was an unsuccessful round for both of the armies, but the Integralists did manage to secure their foothold in Rio, so it was a Pyrrhic win for the Integralist forces, I would say. Again, in the next round, Integralist forces showed their superiority over the Imperialist army, as they were the ones that were moving in the battlefield. They were more on the offensive. But again, defense is a really important part of any war or battle, and Imperialist forces were definitely good on that. We will see what happens in the upcoming rounds. The next round was a big one, as there were a lot going on. Firstly, Integralist forces were still going northwards in pretty quick succession. They were going there in quick succession because there was little to no resistance up on their way, and there is a reason for it. Because the Imperialist army was actually heading southwards in the different direction, and they were now on the offensive against the Integralist lands, which were pretty much unprotected at this point. Meanwhile, a third party, Aztecs, joined the war in favor of the Imperialists as they invade the Integralist lands from up north. There were minimum casualties as no direct confrontation between the two armies. In the next round, Rio de Janeiro was finally retaken by the Imperialist army, as they took it without any resistance because, of course, the Integralist army was up north and they had to pay a price for it, because even though they retook Rio, they left their northern city unguarded, and Integralist army took full on advantage of that, and they took down the northern city. So it wasn't a win, I would say, for the Imperialist army. However, Aztecs made a significant push into the Integralist lands, and as it seems, they're really close to the Integralist northern city, which might be a cause of more trouble for the Integralist army. We will see in the future soon. Casualties were again not too much, as there was little to no direct confrontation between the two armies. Next round really shows how negotiations and talks with your allies and enemies alike is really helpful in any map game or in any war in general, as the Empire of Brazil, through talks and negotiations, managed firstly the Aztecs to invade integralists, and now they managed the strongest nation at that time, Paraguay, to join the war in favor of the imperialists, as Paraguay invades the integralist nation from the east. And obviously, as they are the strongest nation with the biggest army, they had an immediate effect as they take down the northern city of integralist army, integralist forces. Meanwhile, the integralist forces managed to take down another imperialist city. So it's really, I would not say it's a win for integralists, but it's definitely somewhat of a win for the imperialist army. There was average casualties for pretty much everyone. Finally, at round 10 comes the conclusion for the First War of Brazil, as in general the integralists and the imperialists both actually switched up their lands, except for Rio, which was always in imperial hands. So integralist forces take two of the empire's cities, and now they are up with just two cities. Meanwhile, the Empire of Brazil took all three of the cities of integralist army, not by their own, but Paraguay actually gave them the city and the land, and also have control over Rio. So I would say it's a Pyrrhic win again for the Empire of Brazil, though they have shrunken down by land area a lot. We will see what happens if these two fight again in the future. If you guys are interested in map games like these, please check out my Instagram page, mapgame.man. I post all sorts of map games and map game related contents there. And just in case if you didn't know, Instagram has an entire community, a big community just full of map games and map gamers. And I bet if you didn't know this, you would just love it, because it's amazing. The community is amazing, the contents are amazing, and you'll just love it to spend some time on there. So please make sure to check out my page. And again, thanks for watching. I'll come back with another video probably. Thanks.